It's time to deep dive into the collectively crushed soul of the degenerate trifecta in a segment we hate to call BetAches. Mine's easy. Scottie Scheffler. One of the worst choke jobs in recent golf history, right, Bri? As far as I can remember. So they have, it's the FedEx Championship. It's the last big tournament of the year for golf, and they adjust the scores according to how you did going into this tournament. And Scheffler's a big favorite. I have him at plus 200. Gets the adjusted score. He stays in first place all tournament. It's suspended Saturday with 6 holes left, right? Okay. So now he's got to play 18 on Sunday. He's got to play 24. Plays Sunday AM, finishes out the round. He birdies 4 of his last 6 to increase his lead to 6 shots. And then they take a little break and they're going to continue. So he's hot right now. It's not even like, Saturday he was hot. And then it's too much lag time. He just has to change shirts and he's going to go right back at it again. Well, here comes him. Here comes Rory. Here comes more Rory. Scheffler falls apart. Bunker, rough, missed putts, everything. Rory, who's the most infuriating to watch win, takes this thing down. Minus 750, Bri, going into the 4th round. And I had that on a parlay with the Dodgers and Astros, easy winners, in addition to the plus 200. Screw off, Scottie Scheffler. Go join the Live Tour. You terrorized my Sunday. You might as well. Bri, I know you had him too.
Well, it was the same thing, right? I had a couple things that hit, but I had Scheffler from the get-go. I had him at, it was like plus 210, but I had a good amount of money on it. But my biggest problem with everything with him losing is I do not know why I didn't hedge there. I mean, Rory going into the 4th round there was plus 1,000, 10 to 1. And you know how much we hate hearing from our friend Trevor about Rory. So I don't know why because of it, I don't know why I just didn't put a few $100 on Rory there at 10 to 1. So worst case, I have to deal with what Trevor says, but at least I hit a few $1,000s. I don't know why I didn't do it. Instead, I was sitting there. He's minus 750. Because he's a
6-stroke lead and he's the best golfer going into Sunday.
Oh my God. And you said about changing shirts. I think he had to change shirt. I mean, he was pouring sweat.
Yeah.
The whole afternoon. He must have changed shirts like 3 or 4 times, it seemed like. But yeah, that was just frustrating. But you knew it was right. The thing was, you knew it was happening early. You could just, you just sensed it. I mean, his Rory bogeyed the first hole too. And he still had and then he still came back. I mean, it was just so frustrating.
You should have to wear, when it's a suspended game, match, you should have to wear the same shirt you're wearing Saturday to begin Sunday. I think. I don't know. It probably, flies in the face of some endorsement deals. All right, Harry, we already heard from you about Nebraska. Give us some more.
Yeah, well, look, the spread was 13, and then it came down to 11.5, so I didn't want to bet the game right off the bat. Plus, money line I saw was coming down too, plus minus 425. So I figured I'd wait to bet on this Nebraska Northwestern game. So 14-10 at halftime, and Thompson had looked really good for Nebraska. He had almost 200 yards passing, but still they were losing 14-10 at halftime. So I figured, all right, Nebraska, enough of it, Frost. Let's go. Let's get this team rolling. Enough of coddling this team. Let's get some points. I'm going to go over 17 Nebraska, second half only points for a team total. Over 17. So, bingo. They take the drive, first drive down the field. Thompson makes an incredible play for 57 yards. They get a touchdown 3 minutes in. Cool, touchdown. Northwestern gets the ball. First play from scrimmage. They have a 20-yard completion, but a great tackle. Knocks the ball loose. They get the ball back. And then 3 plays later, a 44-yard touchdown run from a JUCO transfer for the Cornhuskers. 14 points with 9.5 left in the third quarter. All I need is 17 for a push, 18 to win. And then all of a sudden, Scott Frost just thinks he's the greatest coach in the world. Meanwhile, he's got. I mean, how do you go from
you're falling apart.
14 to 10 to all of a sudden now you're up 11 after those 2 touchdowns? You have all the momentum in the world. Why do you onside kick? Why? Why would you do that? Especially
because he wants to hit your over. That's why you have team total over. What do you care if he onside kicks?
Yeah, that only helped you there.
It really only helped because of the time thing, but it didn't help because that changed the momentum. They went down, scored a touchdown, and then from that point on,
did they get the ball back though? They got the ball.
They got the ball back plenty, but since that momentum swing like that, they were awful on offense the rest of the game. They really didn't have any. They really didn't have any scoring opportunities. They were awful and blew the game.
Can I tell you what happened? Can I tell you what happened? They scored 14 quick points. Then Harry sends me a text saying I have over 17 points. And then they do not score.
That's
for the
your
next
betting, Harry. You're counting victories long before they happen.
But it's not even pro. It's college where they score left and right. And on a neutral field in Ireland, where's the defense going to be? The defense ain't going to be there. But it was there because Nebraska didn't score again.
It's not left and right, really. All right, it's Big Ten. I mean, you bet an under in the first game of the year. What do you mean it's college? They score left and right. So sometimes points come and sometimes they don't in these games. All right. I think Harry has COVID again. I'm not sure. All right, Parlay Kid, I'm with you here on the Mets. Damn it.
Yeah, look, it was a brutal week for me last week. Probably my worst since EP's inception. So just didn't hit a win. Just didn't have any wins on the week. It was a weird week. I did a lot of traveling. I was on the road a lot, doing a lot of driving.
Maybe I just wasn't
excuses. Maybe I just wasn't focused.
Parlay Kid.
You gotta go everywhere.
I don't know if that coincided with it. Just like Harry was on a hot streak. Think about this. Harry's hot streak coincided with COVID. Harry's had to live a much cleaner lifestyle since this COVID, right? He can't be out doing the things that he normally does. His mind was clear this week. He had a good week. Maybe there's something to this.
I forgot to mention 8, 9, and 4 of those 9 wins, they were parlays too, by the way.
You had a 178 minus 178 parlay in there.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not like we're talking about.
Is that why you forgot to mention it, Harry?
That was the soccer. That was the soccer, which won in the 53rd minute, by the way.
It's only soccer.
Whatever it was. So look.
Kid, you're going to be on the road all season going to your son's games.
Yeah, I know.
This can't be.
I was on the road the whole week. The whole week driving through the beautiful state of New York. But look, forget that. Let's just focus on these fakes, these frauds, these phonies we call the New York Mets. What a bunch of phonies these guys are. They're like the Yankees. They're just phonies.
Oh,
They're phonies.
All right. At least there's that.
Sal, again, I had a terrible week. Yesterday, I just said I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do a parlay. Astros, Dodgers, Mets, Scherzer, Verlander, Urias from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Dodgers hit. Astros struggle. Verlander gets hurt, but they still win 3-1. The Mets now, this is 4 times in 2 weeks. I am 0-4 with this stinking team over the last 2 weeks. When Scherzer and DeGrom have pitched, they've given up a total of 4 runs in these games, and I'm 0-4 with the Mets. That's impossible, but I've done the impossible. Okay, yesterday they lose 1-0. The guy they're facing, Marquez, or is that who it was?
Yeah,
the guy's got a 5 ERA. They lose 1-0. Okay, they can't hit. Lindor was like me.
Lindor was
he was
0 for 20
for the
last
week, like me. I think he had 1 hit this week, Sal.
He did? It must have been.
I think he had one.
I thought Sunday overnight or something.
That's what I mean. It was something like that. They were talking about it on the Fan today here in New York. He was terrible. He was like me. But this, Sal, statistically, so you say, well, how can you be 0-4 when your team that you're betting on has given up 4 runs? And by the way, one of those 4 runs was in extra innings. Now, with the game we were at, right? So I lose 2-1 on just a money line pick 2 weeks ago. I have the Mets minus 1.5. The next day, they win 1-0. This week against the Rockies with DeGrom on the mound, I had the Mets minus 2.5. They give up a late run. They win 3-1. And yesterday, I just needed them to win. They lose 1-0. That's almost impossible to happen. The odds of that have to be, I mean, what would I get on the other side of that?
They should do a 30 for 30 on this. I think you're right. You're right. I don't know what to tell you, Parlay Kid. The big favorites suck. They don't hit for Scherzer or DeGrom. Bet Bassett, bet Peterson, bet Walker, all those other guys.
Right. Bassett. Yeah. I've won almost every time with Bassett this year when I've had him. It's ridiculous. Right. But so you have to. Are the Mets, are they fakes? Are they phonies? They might be.
They won the series, They beat the Rockies.
They won 3 out of 4, right? And the Yankees, look at the Yankees. I mean, look, my Yankees lost 2 out of 4 to the A's, who are terrible.
We have a 3-game lead somehow. Old timers game. I loved it. And then I also hated it. It made me sad with watching Reyes as an old timer. For God's sakes, Daniel Murphy's an old timer. I think didn't he retire like 3 months ago?
Yeah,
what the hell are they doing?
Right, but even I was thinking yesterday because we were trying to think about who wasn't there. But the funny thing was David Wright. He didn't do it because he said that he didn't feel like he was old enough to do it.
Yeah, right. I know.
That's
and you
the
got
right
Daniel
way to
Murphy.
go. Still in your 30s.
It's
I
crazy.
mean, Josh Tolley's 35 years.
Out guys who had 4 hits in their whole career with the Mets. I mean, what are they doing?
Josh Tolley's build looked like he hasn't played baseball in about 14 years. He's 35 years old. He's 35 years old playing old.
And some of those
day.
pop-ups to the left side, Parlay Kid, you thought you could get to. It was getting me crazy that I jumped in, but it's tough. But I like some things about it. First of all, I didn't like that the newer guy. It makes me feel very old when a guy like Reyes is there and even Agbayani. Like those are considered old timers.
I know.
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy when you think like it's nuts?
But I did like is Pedro Martinez. I rubbed this in Simmons' face. I rubbed it in. I'm like, look at that. There you go. Great Met right there. Like waving to the crowd. So it gets Red Sox fans mad. That got him mad. I also like seeing like the guys like Doug Sisk and Todd Pratt just 150 pounds overweight. I'm like, oh my God, these were world-class athletes in their field at one time. Not necessarily for baseball measures, but they really let themselves go. So it made me feel good about myself. Overall.
It's crazy to think when you see some of those guys, right? Like Glendon Rush looked like he gained about 300. He gained like 300 pounds. And then I'm looking at the Mets. I'm like, he hasn't pitched for the Mets in almost 20 years. I feel like it was just like a few years ago.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, you look at that 2006 team that blew it. Like, oh my God, that was like 16 years ago.
Yeah,
like, it's real
Sal,
weird.
Speaking of old timers game, if I could just mention this, because we passed around another text chain. I don't know if I put it on ours, but there was an all-star game in, was it 1982, Bri?
Yeah.
Down in D.C. And it was going around the internet this week. Baseball by B-Smile had put it up on his feed. It shows a lot of stuff, good stuff. Luke Appling, when he was 75 years old, in the old-timers game.
Home run
75 years old. And he actually looks like he's like 95 years old. 75 years old. Hits a home run in the old timers game, like 300 feet. The fence was like slightly moved in, but you got it. Amazing. I've been watching that video for like 2 straight days.
It was something else. It was amazing. And even like, cause like Brian's like, is anyone going to hit one out today? I'm like, I don't think so. And then Piazza got one that looked like something that would go out when it looked like a classic Piazza swing. I'm like, oh my God. That's barely going to make it behind second base. What the hell's going on here? So yeah, it's sad in a lot of regards.
Well, the best player on the field the other day was, aside from Endy Chavez, Mookie Wilson. He probably hit the ball the furthest, and he had the great catch.
Right,
made
the great catch in left field. It's good. Yeah, he's had some legs still. And what is it? Is Lenny Dykstra not old enough? I guess to make it. I guess he's not old. Maybe he's not.
Oh man, come on, get Dykstra on that. Come on.
They can't. I don't think he could be within 1,000 yards of Ron Darling at this point. I think what's going on. All right, Mikey Meatballs. Let's hear the song again.